Yay, welcome back again. And now we're going to talk about the health belief model. Most psychological health behavior models occur at the individual level and focus on what we perceive are the impacts to our health behaviors. These models explain why people think, feel, and behave the way they do. The health belief model is a common individual level behavior change theory. It was developed by Godfrey Hochbaum and colleagues in the 1950s. During this time, tuberculosis was a problem, so people had access to free chest x-rays to see if they had TB. Only 30 to 40% of people took part in the free screenings, and Hochbaum wanted to know why. So he asked people about this and found that their behavior was influenced by their perceptions of susceptibility to getting TB, their perceptions of the severity involved with getting TB, and the benefits vis-a-vis the costs of getting the screening itself. So while the health belief model was originally developed for one-time behaviors like getting screened, it was then revised to accommodate lifestyle and long-term changes, such as consistent condom use and long-term smoking cessation. And therefore, what was added to the model were these ideas of cues to action to make a change and a person's self-efficacy. So the health belief model assumes many things. One thing is that people are capable of rationalizing the threat of illness. It assumes that there are cues to action or prompts exist in one's environment. It assumes that behavior change can be voluntary. But as we know, this is not always true. And so self-efficacy was added to the model, even though this isn't acknowledged in our book. It assumes that the reason health behaviors vary can be accounted for by people's attitudes and beliefs, as we see in this model. It assumes people behave to influence their own health, and that one's desire to change behavior depends on feelings, emotions, benefits, and barriers, or value expectancy. So let's go through the different constructs or the little squares of the health belief model. And the first one is perceived susceptibility. Perceived susceptibility is one's perception of how likely it is that they will contract an illness. For example, you might ask somebody to give you an answer to how likely is it that I will get pregnant if I don't use a condom? How likely will it be that I will develop cancer if I stop smoking? How likely will it be that I will get into a car crash if I text while driving? So these are people's perceived susceptibilities. The second construct is perceived severity. Perceived severity is one's perception of seriousness of having a particular illness or issue. This may pertain to the physical, medical, and clinical consequences associated with contracting a health issue, such as pain and disability, or social consequences such as effect on loved ones and relationships, financial costs, and the ability to work. Now, when you combine perceived susceptibility and perceived severity, you get a perceived threat. A perceived threat is the combination of these to find out how much does a person really feel that they need to take some action to either stop a behavior or start a behavior. An example would be of high susceptibility plus high severity would equal an increased threat and possibly a prompt for people to change their behavior, such as if I don't use a condom, I'm at risk of contracting an STD. Contracting an STD would have a negative effect on my love life, so I feel threatened and I will use a condom. Okay? Perceived benefits are another construct. Perceived benefits are those benefits that people perceive in terms of enacting a health behavior, such as using a condom. Benefits may include not getting STDs, something to do, being able to play with different colors and flavors and types of condoms, not having a risk of pregnancy, feeling responsible for yourself and your loved one, and showing your care. You can think of other benefits of using a condom, I'm sure. But there's also these perceived barriers, the costs of taking a particular action. And for condoms, examples might be that they can be messy, obstructive. They might show your partner that there's mistrust. They might be embarrassing to buy. Places don't always have them, so there's not accessibility. They can be expensive and not always reliable. So when you put together these idea of benefits and barriers, you have a cost-benefit analysis. And the hope is that you're trying to decrease barriers and increase benefits. You want the benefits to outweigh the costs. For example, if using a condom has many pros and the cons are less important, the person will be more likely to take on using condoms. Another aspect of the health belief model is cues to action. Cues to action are internal or external prompts that heighten awareness and activate readiness to take action. Some examples of cues to action include wearing an awareness bracelet that reminds you to have safe sex, having informative posters in a bar or restaurant, or bar restroom, seeing TV ads or PSAs about safe sex, having access to condoms, such as at bars or machines for condoms at bars, keeping condoms in your wallet, having a friend be diagnosed with an STD, or hearing about celebrities who have died from AIDS or other STDs. And finally, another added aspect of the health belief model is self-efficacy, which was added to the model around 1988. Self-efficacy was added when lifestyle behavior change became a target of the model as opposed to one-time convenient events, such as a person. Self-efficacy is a person's confidence in his ability to do things. So in terms of condom use, it might be their confidence in using a condom when they have sex, to stick to a low-fat sugar diet even when they're tired, to exercise regularly even when they're busy, or to quit smoking even when they're drinking alcohol. So here's an example of a PSA or a campaign that was developed to raise awareness using the health belief model. And at the bottom of the poster it says, every year thousands of young people die in car accidents caused by drugs and alcohol. But now you can wreck your life without hitting the gas pedal. The number of reported AIDS cases among teenagers has increased by 96% in the last 2 years. If you get high and forget, even for a moment, how risky sex can be, you're putting your life on the line. AIDS, another way drugs can kill. So this discusses and takes into account the health belief concepts of susceptibility, severity, and threat. And here we have a great kind of old campaign that was trying to enhance perceived susceptibility to pregnancy for males. And it says, would you be more careful if it was you that got pregnant? So now I'd like you to go onto our Blackboard and watch 2 PSAs that use the health belief model to talk about Adderall addiction and HPV vaccination and how they use susceptibility, severity, and the pros of changing behavior as constructs in this PSA. So enjoy the PSAs, and I'll see you back for our next mini lecture devoted to the theory of reasoned action and planned behavior.